Really loud. Hello, how's everyone doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
I'm always having to check because I keep changing my webcam and my depending on what class I'm doing. So, how's everyone? How's it going?
Good.
Working hard.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So Vera had a realization that I hope everyone else has this week. Oh, that's what's happening. Hold on. My webcam is on the other computer, so let me move it to this one. Let's see if I can now change it. Yeah, that's better. I just have, depending on where it's coming from, I can move things better or not. Okay. So here we go. Letting people in. All right. Well, I'm gonna give a couple of minutes for people to show up. But meanwhile, please go to the chat, okay, and do your little hi, I'm here. You don't need to even say that. You just need to say yes, no. You can say I hate Word. You can say I love Word. It's the best thing ever. Anyway, I don't know. You can say whatever you want to say, but something like "Hi, I'm here" is perfectly fine. All right. So I have the unfortunate news that quite a few of you guys haven't completed your first assignment yet, and a few of you haven't done your exam. I did write to some of you guys and said, well, if you need help, come to the meeting. So I'm not sure how many of you guys are here because you need help with that. If you're still not done working on your assignments that are due tonight, or if you are just here because you're always here and you are learning. But I can check now. I'm pretty clear on one or two of you guys who haven't turned in your assignments, but I need to go check the grades because I don't remember everyone by heart. I'm going to change the assignments due date for my other course because everyone's assignments are due tonight. And so then I get like my different people crossed as in who isn't. And then I can't help the people who of my other course was due tonight because I'm here, right? In this class helping this people. So I just want to make sure that everyone that is here, you guys have all completed your assignments. And if you haven't, that you can get help from me and from Katie, who isn't here yet, who shall show up, I hope, sometime soon. Today, I want to show you just a bit of what's up next, but mainly I'm going to help you work on what's due today and what's due next week. Okay, so while we wait for a couple more people to show up, any particular questions? And I want Katie to show up too. Any questions?
Are you going to give us the intro for the SAM projects?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So you also asked me something about extra credit projects.
Yeah.
And no, I was going to give an extra credit. I haven't set it up yet, but I was thinking of giving an extra credit for what I do in class. And I had it set up for that. I have an extra credit of some questions I ask, and I have an extra credit of doing a training for next module. But I can't actually do, I've discovered, any extra credits during class time because since it's not mandatory that you attend, then it's not fair to people who don't attend that I offer you, because I have these questions. Remember I told you last week that I'll ask you about the red dots and stuff, and then I assign points, which is totally fair for everyone who's here. But since it's not technically, since you're not technically have to be here because of
Well, can't you just,
equity issues, then the people who have to watch the video aren't able to get the points. And so now I've had to backtrack on that. So
well,
anyway.
can't you just email it to everyone?
The idea.
The ones who are here all the time.
Well, here's the thing. The idea is that it's a question that I ask and people without researching have to answer because they've done their work, right? So it's rewarding people who've done their work. But if I email the question, you can research it and everyone can answer right, then everyone gets extra credit. And that's not necessarily the idea of that assignment. It's more like, hey, I'm rewarding all of you who have done the work and have read the book. So anyway, when you asked me that, I was thrown for a loop because Vera asked me, are you gonna have extra credit assignments? And I'm like, yes, of course I always do. And then I thought, wait, I can't do what I always do. So your question prompted me to notice that I can't actually do that in class. So you never know when your questions help not only you guys, but help me too, because I was gung-ho to do it. And I went, can't really do that. Still trying to learn this whole, it's weird for me to have a class that instead of having 28, there's 28 people in the class and have 28 of you, I have only the people who choose to show up. But then people are asking me questions as if this were a completely online course where they need a different kind of support. And I'm like, well, this isn't a completely online course. This is one where you're supposed to get your learning from today. So it's, we're all learning, aren't we? Okay, so gonna check in for a second here with, give me a sec while I find out what's up with, because I want to give you a lot of support with tutoring today, but I need to find out what's happening with our tutor. So let me give her a quick text. I don't think she's texted me anything about not coming. So let me give her a quick text here to see what's up. And of course, my text is acting up. I should just do it on my phone, but my phone is connected to something else right now.
Hey, the online tutoring, that was awesome.
So yeah, I wanted to speak a little bit about that precisely because it's, let me see if she's getting it through Pipeline. Nope. Okay. So I wanted her ears to burn with hearing how good it is, the work that, I don't know if you got Katie or if you got one of the other two tutors, but here's the thing. Vera, you know, because it's up to you to ask me questions and get all the help you can get. We have a lot of help to provide you, but if you don't ask, we don't give, right? And so she asked, how come I got, you know, she submitted the assignment and suddenly there's a lot of things that are wrong in the assignment. The report comes back and there's a lot of things that are wrong, and you look at it and it looks like, well, I did it. Remember last week I told you how weird it was when you get something telling you you didn't do it and you look at it and you go, yes, I did. And it goes, no, you didn't. And you go, yes, I did. No, no, yes, no. Yeah, if you've done the report, you've understood it now, where it keeps telling you what to do that you see done. And it takes some understanding and some practice to get, oh, there was a comma I didn't ask, or I didn't make that extra space. And so although I'm seeing it, it's not exactly right. So instead of saying, no, the assignment is wrong or the reports are wrong, you need to learn how to use the reports to correct your work, because the reports are not wrong. They're just kind of obtuse in how they speak. They basically repeat the point that you need to do. And it's up to you to look and go, well, what's wrong between what I did and what this thing says I didn't do? So the first impulse, Vera's impulse, and not just Vera's, but a lot of people's impulses, oh, this is wrong, or it only give me 50%. Is that enough? I'm like, well, no, you can get 100%. 50% isn't enough if you know how to understand the reports. And so that's what we're going to work more on today. For those of you who submitted and don't have a good grade, you have chances until tonight to submit. But the idea is to learn from today how to handle those reports so that when you do the next two projects that are due next week, you can begin to fly solo a bit more with the reports. But so backtracking to my answer to Vera was, there's not necessarily anything wrong, but what you need to do is learn how to understand these reports. And that's exactly what the tutors in the Comp online Zoom are for. And so Vera, who did you get as your tutor?
I got Norma.
Norma. So there's Norma, Esther, and Katie. And they are there pretty much every day. Let me pull up the schedule. Oh, there comes Katie. She must have heard her ears burning. Let me pull up the schedule right here. Let me pull up the schedule. And actually I should pull it up on this computer so I can share with you. But I sent it as an announcement again today. So actually I'm gonna bring it up in this computer. So Katie, your ears must have been burning because I was like, wait, I want Katie to be here to hear how great your support is. But so I was telling people how, hi Jeremy, when you don't understand something at some point, and I was trying to share it, but I have it on the other computer. So give me a second here, unless you have it open. Does anyone have Comp course open faster than me right now?
Yeah, I do.
You have it open?
Yeah.
Can you go to the announcement that I sent today? Can you see it? Do you know how to see it in the home page?
Yes.
And then share your screen for a second?
I have no idea how to share my screen.
Well, there you go. It's always a good first time to know how to share your screen. So at the bottom of your Zoom screen, there's this black tool and there's a green button that says share screen. Do you see it?
Hold on. I was like halfway on here because, okay, so at the bottom it says, oh, okay, I see.
Big green button. Okay.
Get in.
Right. That's not enough. Then you have like a white screen with a lot of different small boxes. At the bottom right of that screen, there's a small blue share button.
Mm-hmm.
Click
Okay.
share. There you go.
Sorry.
Okay.
Everyone's seeing my home screen right now.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'm in Hawaii, so
I should have warned you.
sorry.
That's fine. Good for you that you were in Hawaii.
Yeah.
All right. So go to today's today's announcement, which is not that one, and the latest one, the top one. Get help with your assignments. Thank you for bravely sharing your screen. I want everyone to see that.
There we go.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, every day of the week other than the weekend, there's one of these brave souls, Katie, Norma, or Esther, are there at staggered times of the day so that people can kind of fit it in along their work schedules. Just sitting there waiting for someone to click in. They're available that entire time for you to just click on that link and say, I don't understand this. I need help. So look at that schedule and consider when you are doing your work to coordinate it, that maybe it's at a time when you still have time to check in with them before you have to submit. So if you wait until Tuesday morning, 9 to 1 p.m., then you still have time to submit by the end of the day. But if you had worked on it over the weekend and you needed help, then you still have them on Monday. Or if you start working today, you have them on Wednesday and Thursday. The idea is that they are there to help you work on those points that you don't understand, that don't make sense, or that somehow you can't work around. There is this place where I told you, ask me questions, right? In the help ask me questions discussion, but there's only so much you can explain in a text that you're writing to me that I can understand really what the problem is. So it's much easier if your screen is open and a tutor is there and they're looking at your screen and you're showing their screen, and then you can go, oh yeah, that's what's really happening. Does that make sense? So the time that tutors are there is way more helpful than any quick answer I can give you in the help. I can screenshot things and I can do stuff like that, but it gets to a point where it's easier for you to just get a live answer. And these are the people who give you the live answers, okay? So
I have a quick question, if I may interrupt, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So a couple of things. I kind of started working on the project that's due next week, just to see kind of like, test my own knowledge. And for the project that's due tonight, I already submitted it. And my question is I know that you give us 10 attempts to submit it. When you submit it each time, will it automatically capture the highest score, or does it like as if it starts over again?
No. Great question. And I thought I'd made it clear, but if I hadn't, thanks for asking me that. It is always your highest score. So even if for any weird reason you mess up and do worse after you correct something, because sometimes you mess something else up. Yes, as we say, because you fixed something, but you didn't even notice you deleted a paragraph or some weird thing, and you get a lower score. The highest score is the one that stays. And you don't have to start all over again. You just need to fix what's wrong. But in the process of fixing, sometimes, as Vera discovered, what you need to do is basically redo a step. So if you go to the help ask questions here, Vera wrote down a whole bunch of questions she had, and then she wrote what she had to do. And a lot of the times, once it was just a comma that was missing, another time, but a lot of the times it was like, if she wasn't there to be able to figure out what was wrong, something is wrong in that background. Remember those hidden characters I told you, showed you last time? Maybe there was an extra space or an extra paragraph, something that's not easy to really distinguish. So the easiest thing is just get rid of that line and do it again. And then boom, when you submit it again, this time paying real attention to the instructions, yay, it was correct. And you might not really have been able to tell exactly what was wrong, but if the report is telling you it's wrong, trust the report. It's wrong. So one part I want to make clear for you, it's not that the reports are wrong. They just need to be interpreted in a way that you can figure out what it is that you need to redo. And that's what the comp tutors are experts at. They've seen these so many times that they look at your go and go, oh yeah, that's what's missing. This is what's missing. This is what's not. And to be truthful, since this is the first time we're using these assignments and these books, this session, you guys are the first ones trying out the 2019. It's not like they know all the assignments by heart yet. By the end of last session, you could just open it up and they'd go that, and that, because everyone had seen them so many years in a row. So this time it might be a little bit more figuring out for them and for us when you show us something that's wrong, because we also need to figure out, well, this is actually wrong from Sam, because now and then, rarely, there is something that's wrong in the textbook, and thus we have to distinguish between, is the textbook wrong? So I've asked you to report your mistakes, but for the most part, the mistakes would be something that the book tells you to do it this way, and when you go to the computer, it's not doable that way. That's the kind of mistake that we need to understand, that maybe the people who wrote the book had a typo. Maybe they wrote press the numbers button, and when you go to the button it says page number instead of just the word number. So we need to distinguish, and that's the kind of mistake. But what's not the kind of mistake is that when you submit your report and you get your report, you submit your assignment and you get your report back, if you don't see what they're saying is wrong, that's not the kind of mistake we're talking about. That's you interpreting what it is that the report is trying to tell you that you need to do again. Does that make sense? For those of you who did the submit and report, you probably get an idea what I'm talking about. Those of you who haven't submitted yet or haven't checked your report, all of this sounds like, what are you talking about? So we're gonna test it out here a little bit more, okay? When you first open up the report, you don't get told what's wrong. You just get told to do that point over again. And you have to discover what's wrong. Sometimes it's very clear. Oh yeah, I forgot the comma. And other times it's not very clear. You look at it 2,500 times and you don't see the comma until one of the tutors helps you and goes, the comma's missing. And you go, duh, because your eyes just can't, it's like editing. You don't see things anymore. You wrote them, you think they're fine. And then the editor comes and sees immediately what's wrong. So that's why use the tutors. That's basically all of this is. Go to that schedule that Bristol was sharing. Madison, I want to call you, since Bristol is also a name.
Yeah.
It's her last name, but it's hard because it's obvious when it's a first and last name. But in your case, I keep wanting to say Madison Bristol. But Madison was sharing, use that time that the tutors are there, where they're sitting there. They have nothing else to do but help you. And so go go there. And when it's Zoom problems or connection problems, I also gave you the student tech support. And it's better to use student tech support for that. Like my Zoom, my pipeline account is acting up, or my, that kind of stuff is student tech support. But when it's assignments, hey, why is this report telling me that my headline is wrong when it looks perfectly fine? That's when you go to the tutors. So is that pretty clear? As from now on, you're going to really be needing them. From now on, we're going to be doing 2 to 3 assignments per week. So they're going to be your biggest, strongest, most powerful resource. Okay. Vera, anything else you want to say about your experience with you said you were with Norma?
Yeah, I was with Norma. Yeah, but you know what? I had when you change clean to clean, it just kept coming back saying it was incorrect. So.
Yeah, now and then there's that mystery. What was the word? It says clean hand. You wrote it down. I don't have it in front of me what you wrote.
As CLEN to clean.
Let me go back to what you wrote because I don't have it in front of me. I have it, but over here. So if you guys go to the help ask questions here, Vera had a whole list of things that were or were not happening. And then, here you go. So it says to check spelling and grammar, the corrections, the report said the misspelled word clean, C-L-E-N, should be corrected to clean, C-L-E-A-N. So she says she made that change, but that the report says that the change had not been made. In the end, her solution was to delete it and retype it. And so I don't know, because I was not there. And even being there, like Katie can testify, sometimes there's an extra space, letting something else is wrong. There's other stuff happening in the background that no matter that you add the A, it just doesn't register. And so the solution was, as you said, delete the word and retype it, and then it comes in right. So it's not always as simple as just add the A, right? Because the A was missing. And so she added the A, submitted, and lo and behold, they still came up as wrong. So it's probable that there's something else happening or it didn't register. So then just redo that step. And when you redo that step, and if you're doing it correctly, then the report does show you the correct, the check mark.
I have a question for you, but I can't see you on my main screen. I see myself, but I don't see you.
Is anyone else not seeing me?
I can see you, but I can't see myself.
Are you doing speaker? I'm not doing anything weird.
I can see your thumbnail, but I can't. Oh, now I see you on both screens.
Speaker view or gallery view. Yeah, I'm not sharing or doing anything weird. You should be, according to your choices of speaker view or gallery view, you should be seeing me. Are you seeing me now?
Only on my second machine.
The machine that you're not seeing me on, do you have 2 monitors or 2 accounts? No, you have 2 accounts, right? You sign up as 2 different people. Are you, I don't know what you're doing with your second one. The one that you're not seeing me in, do you have a hidden window under some other box or something? Sometimes you have other windows open and they're hiding the window that shows me. Like hide all your other windows, go up to, are you on a Mac or on a PC?
I'm on the Mac.
Yeah, so go up to the Apple and look at the top and see if it says Zoom US, and then go down and say hide others. Like from where it says Zoom US, say hide others, and everything else should disappear, and then it should only be, okay, so go up to the little apple and on the right, and then go to hide other, and everything else should disappear, leaving only Zoom windows. Did I now appear?
No.
Oh, well.
I'll just watch you on my PC.
Okay, I don't know what to say. But did you hide everything? Okay, yeah. So yeah, I don't know how to fix that. So, but yes. So,
What would be the best way, like, while I don't want to interrupt. So do you want me to like post in the participants, like to raise my hand, or do you want me to just like kind of interrupt? I don't know.
right now to speak, well, it's a little bit weird because like in class, you would have, raised your hand. Here, you can raise your hand, your little blue hand.
Okay.
But sometimes I might not know if it's old or new. Not the thumbs up that's temporary, but the actual blue hand that you get from the participant screen. Then I see that you have a hands up. The other thing is to write it in the chat because it's something that is easily fixable. Then Katie is reading the chat and she might be able to answer on the chat.
Okay.
But if it's a question to me and you're waiting, then you can just kind of do like this when I'm speaking, and then I'll know because your video is on. And then when I'm done with Vera, I'll say, "Hey, Sarah, did you have a question?" You know,
Okay.
so
'Cause
kind
I
of
have
like
a
you would in
question
class.
whenever you guys are done. I have a question about something else too.
Well, but give me an idea about the assignments, about what?
Yeah, so it's about the project that I submitted that was due tonight. Is there a way that you can go back in and see, because I know that once you complete it and submit it, it'll tell you where the errors are and how it's graded you. But is there a way to go back and retrieve that information?
Retrieve.
Like as far as so that I know what to fix in order to resubmit it and get a higher score.
Yeah, the
The
reports.
report, yeah.
You're asking how to access the reports?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So you go back to the assignment, okay? And in fact, let me join us. I've been waiting, but I haven't joined us from this room yet. So let me join us from my other computer. And I can demonstrate that. So give me a sec. Meanwhile, I'll set this up. Does anyone else have any other questions that I can answer verbally while I'm setting this computer up to demo? Okay. Yes, Stephanie?
I submitted my module and it had all the check marks and everything, and then it says it's submitted and it says wait a couple minutes for it to grade, you know, and then I'll click on the report and it says 0 out of 100 on it. So I'm wondering if it just takes time. I have to come back later or what?
No, it's pretty much instant. And if you got 0 out of 100, did you do it on a blank piece of paper instead of starting with the start file?
No,
You used the start file?
yeah.
To do your assignment, because 0 out of 100, that would be an example.
And everything had like check marks all the way through when I submitted it.
Check marks, like the 4 green check
Yeah.
marks, you mean?
Mhm.
And then when you clicked and downloaded the report, you open it up, it says 0 out of 100?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, that's one of those things that we need to look into. Because until we see, like, do you have the assignments with you and everything?
Yeah, I could take like a snip of it.
Well, not a snip. What you can do is I can put you with Katie in a breakout room and you guys can
Okay.
go and try to figure it out.
Okay.
Because right now, that's the best thing. Because truly, the issue is, let me just set up the breakout room. Oh, and you know what? One more thing. Wait, hold on. Before anything else, let me set her up as a co-host. There we go. All right, Katie, so now you're set up as a co-host, but I will also set you up in a breakout room so that I can Stephanie and Katie. Okay, so I haven't sent you there yet. I will in a second, but if anyone else has issues like this, like if you've done the whole assignment, the main concern would be that if you opened up, if you downloaded the right start file and started with the right start file and then named it the right thing, that would be the cleanest thing. And I'm going to let you guys check on that. But if you didn't, and you did the whole assignment as 0%, something's weird. So that would be a perfect example to check in with a Zoom room or whatever. So now I'm going to send you guys out. And please click on your join rooms. There we go. They're off and running. The rest, okay, cool. We're all here. I need to move that out of the way so that I can see them. Last time they came back, and didn't land in our same place. So they ended up leaving. Cecile, right? Where are you? Yeah, you guys ended up.
Yeah, we
And
ended up.
now, you came back to the room, but we had gone off to a different room.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, where are you guys? So then you ended up not leaving. But anyway,
Yeah.
fortunately, it was the end of the class. Now I did it in a way that we're still all here.
Okay.
Okay. So other than something completely bizarre like that, which if you're on your own and you're trying to submit and it's, Sunday, then you basically do have to wait until Monday till one of us can help you. Okay, so that's what so the schedule that I wanted to share with you, I'll put it up again. Write this down in case you didn't yet. And this is the screen. What's that? This is where was it? I'm showing you so many things. Announcements. I was here, but then I went into Vera's question. So guys, this here, write this down if you haven't yet. I'll show you now how to get to this again, but this is the schedule. Oh, someone has a second computer with sound on. All right, so I don't know if you were really aware that this is the way to get help, but also when you come into the course, when you just say hi and you just show up in the course, this doesn't look the same because mine is this, not the student view. Let me set it up for student view so it looks just like yours, because otherwise it's, so when you arrive to the course and this is what you see, right here, I have the help ask questions here, and right next to it, I have the online tutor and tech support. Right there, right? They're the two most important things I got for you other than the recordings. Click on that and it'll take you to, oh, come now. Really? Do I not have the right link? Okay, so I have to fix that. That is, I'm showing you how well it works and then now it suddenly isn't working. So I need to see why that link is not working, but that link should be taking you straight to the online tutor and tech support. So give me a sec while I set that up. And now you're seeing the inner way of how these things work. Okay, so now if I click on it, online tutor and tech support, there you go. So I am bringing you, no. I think I called it a different name. I called it Comp Online Tutoring. What did I call it? Give me a sec. You guys know it's such a mess back here. The back, it's called Comp Online Tutoring and Tech Support. That's why. So I've been giving, I was linking you to a wrong one. So I want you to know that this right there, instead of having to depend on an email, because I've said it in emails and stuff, but being able to know exactly how to get help, and we're not right there. Comp Online Tutoring and Tech Support. Okay, perfect. So now it should work. If you click on that link, come into the course, click on this link, it takes you here, and then you click on this link inside of any of that time. Okay. You could also go to modules, of course, and in the modules, in the help module is where I have all of this information. So hold on. Here we go, under the help module. This is the help ask questions here, and here's the tech support. So I put in, this is all the Cengage numbers, and this is just SPCC student tech support. So I try to leave it easy to use, but then I was finding that still people weren't going there, so I sent an announcement about it. But if the announcement becomes old, in a few weeks it'll be old, this is where you can still get to that link, okay? All right. Any other questions? Just off the top of things that happened this week before we move on to what we need to do this week, or no? So I'm gonna demonstrate now the reports, by the way. But well, actually the person asking was Stephanie because it wasn't working. So maybe what I should ask before I listen to you, Jeremy, anyone else here? Jeremy, I think you have two sound things on. Turn your sound off for a second while I speak. Did anyone else have trouble with the reports? Nope. Okay. Did someone, I emailed people about an hour before this class started who hadn't done the assignments that are due tonight or the exam that's due tonight. So go check your inbox, see if you got something from me, because last week, some of the course assigned grades hadn't come through yet. So I emailed today everyone again saying, hey, you haven't submitted what's due tonight, but if you have, let me know, because I do have it in SAM. It's just that I need to come and retrieve it from SAM. So for example, I think, Marcy, that I did email you for one of them. I don't know. I just go to anyone who hasn't submitted and I automatically send them a, hey, you haven't submitted, but I don't remember exactly right now who did or didn't submit one or the other. But go check your inbox. So constantly check your inbox for me. So go check your inbox right now and then go check your grades. So right now, go check inbox to see if you have something waiting from me, and then check your, go to the inbox part of the inbox. Maybe you have it under sent or something else. Go to the newly arrived messages to see if I told you that I don't have something. And if what I told you I don't have, you actually have sent, this is the time to tell me that. This is the time to say, no, I did do my exam if I told you you didn't do your exam yet. Okay? Or something like that. Because if you did, it's not like I don't have it. It didn't transfer into Canvas and I have to go into SAM and manually sync the grade. Okay? But I need to know that because otherwise I just see a 0 and I go, oh, you didn't do it. No discrepancies there. Whoever got something is okay. All right, not hearing any. Go into your grades. Is everyone okay with your grades? Do all the grades appear? Last week I told a bunch of you hadn't done an exam that you had done. Are those grades in now? I need your verbal, like I need you to confirm yes or no. I need you to be checking because I did what I had to do, which is I resynced all the grades. But then beyond that, if you don't tell me, no, mine still didn't come in, some of you have an extra deadline for it or something, you need to tell me about that. There's 1 or 2 people who I've had issues with creating a second assignment for them because originally I gave them some more time and that second assignment isn't coming through. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the regularly scheduled ones. All right, well, looks like you're all okay because no one's speaking up. So Jeremy, what's your question?
First of all, is my sound okay?
No, your sound is always broken up, but it always is. I don't know why.
Weird. Okay, hang on.
So-
Can I test the system?
Mm-hmm.
Let me try and test the system because sometimes that helps. Just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Did that help?
Speak up.
Did that help at all?
No.
No.
Okay, so Jeremy, turn your sound off for a minute. It's okay if you have asked me a question. I can understand you enough that you can talk, even we all kind of cringe a little bit. But in the chat, I put the link for the student tech support. Please click on that and ask them to help you with this. They're the ones who can help figure out what's up with your sound and your connections, and connect the same way you do with me with your 2 accounts so that they can see what's happening. And they're the ones who can sit there and start going through all of your settings and your sound and your record and try to figure out what's wrong. I can support you with other stuff, but I can't help you beyond the basics on Zoom. Okay, so now we will all try to cringe through the reverb, but I do want to hear your question. And if you really can't make yourself understood, then type it in. So go ahead.
There was one question in the exam that was awful. It was the question that said,
Wait a
on
minute.
a hard,
Wait.
oh, right.
Has everyone taken the exam yet? It's due tonight, but you know what? Go ahead. It doesn't matter. Talk about it. That's fine. People will learn. Yes.
Well, it was the one that said hard disk has moving parts. Does the hard disk not have moving parts? And it wasn't true or false. It was yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
true or false I could answer, but yes or no was a grammar gymnastics.
Some of the questions are a little bit ambiguous. Didn't it ask what type of hard drive? Because there's different types of hard drives. Some have moving parts and some don't. Didn't it ask such and such type of hard drive? Does it have moving parts?
I think it just
Yes,
asked.
it asked about a disk drive.
Yeah.
Hold on. I did have the question in front of me last week because I was telling you about the exam and I put it here. Let me.
It was question 7, but I don't know if the questions rotate or they change.
Yeah, let's not be so specific. Some people here have actually not taken it, but I'm going. I have the.
It was very weird, that question.
It's like an
This is-
oxymoron.
Yeah. I told you guys that I had issues with that assignment, with that exam, right? I mean, some of the questions are like,
Yes.
did you really ask it that way? It's like kind of like a screech in the background, right? Okay, I can't pull it up right now, but I got that one wrong when I told you that I got it wrong. So I went to check. It's like, why? So I listened to the whole spiel the lady had to say, and listening to the whole spiel, I went, well, yeah, based on how that person said it, I guess you could answer it the way they answered it. But based on my information, I answered it wrong by what I know about hard drives. So yeah, I'll go listen to it again. If it's too ambiguous, I'm willing to give you guys an extra point for that because I did notice that when I went back and listened to the way they teach it to you, then the question was, oh, well, okay, I guess based on that. That's why I made so much a point of saying, go to the transcripts, read the transcript, because I encountered that on a couple of questions where I was like, huh? And then I went to see how they said it. And yeah, based on how they teach it, the answer is pretty obvious. But then again, I have so much information, I've learned it in so many different ways that I was using other information to answer it, right? So that's why it's hard. If you learn from what they say, the question is pretty clear. Anyway, but yeah, send me a text about that, not a text, and go to the inbox, send me an email to remind me to go check that question again.
Yeah,
And if I give it, and if I give that to you, I'll give it to everyone who got that one wrong. So yeah.
Yeah, I know the information and I know my intent was correct, but the way it was worded, that was the issue. So thank
Yeah,
you.
we had in the exam that we had up until last year, there was also a question that no matter how, and I tried so much to get Cengage to chip it. I can't change that question. It comes from Cengage. And I went through every channel to get them, you report the mistake, you tell them to fix, and we had that textbook for 2 years and they never changed that question. So yeah, I can just foresee this is going to be one of those that in this session is going to be hard because, I guess the people who write these things aren't necessarily, the highest level literature writers, whatever it might be. Anyway, but thanks for pointing it out. Remind me, I'll bring it up with them again and see what can be up with that one. Okay. Anything else? Yes.
There was one that I found very interesting because I went back and I listened through the whole thing again, as you did. And it actually says that modern processors have at least 3 levels.
Mm-hmm.
And it marked it as incorrect.
Well, it talks about it 3 levels. I did. Yeah, I got that one wrong too. And it's so funny because I had to go back to hear it because I didn't hear all those things. Come on. I was like, I don't need this, right? But then when I got it wrong, I went to see why. And then when you listen, they talk about the 3 levels, but then the question is specific. And it's one of those trick ones where they make you think And then they're actually asking you, it's one of them is the levels that you're talking about. So really it's the other two. So the answer, if you actually listen to that one, it is that one's right. It's just that since they mentioned the word 3 levels, if you don't focus on the whole thing, you go back and you go, oh, they said 3. Yes, here's 3. I'll mark 3. It's one of those kind of tricky ones. But it is actually, that's a correct answer. I was like, ooh, I should have thought that one. So yeah, that one I can't give you. The first one, yeah, is very ambiguous. That one, if you actually listen, it's like, yeah, but you need to, the way they ask the question, the easy answer would be 3, but it's not. Marcy, you had a question too? Thanks for pointing that out, Guadalupe.
I do, yeah, it's probably a really dumb question, but so I did the computer concepts practice exam last night, and then I did the computer concept training, of course, and then I looked for the test. Well, the test wasn't there. The test that they had in my module, and I know I'm doing this wrong, says Windows 10 exam September 15th.
Yeah, I emailed you back.
I'm sorry?
I emailed you back.
You did, yeah. You said that I haven't.
So go ahead and share your screen because it should be there, and I don't know why it's not there for you.
Okay, here's my screen. Let's see, let me make it smaller.
The reason I'm laughing is because I know Marcy hasn't done it yet. So I'm like, okay, guys, but it's all right.
I'm just listening. So
yeah, it's okay. I mean, if you captured the right answer from everything we're seeing, you're actually good enough that you know it. So I'm fine. Go ahead.
Can you see my screen right here?
No, not yet. So hold on. Let me tell you how to share. First, hit the share your screen. And then when you have another screen in front of you with Windows, there's one more bottom right. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Can you see my screen? So
yeah, so week 4. So today is wait. Today is week 5. So go to week 4.
My gosh, how did I mess up? That's how.
Yeah, that's how.
I'll be doing that after class.
Yeah, there's a take a computers exam. But what I told you in the email is an easier way to really find what's due if you're not sure what module it's in. Go up, and on the left side, click on the word syllabus.
Okay.
So that's the instruction I gave you. No, go scroll up. Don't go up there, just scroll. Scroll to the top of, yeah, keep going. You have to, and there, see the word syllabus? Click on that, on the left syllabus.
Yeah.
Now scroll down to today's date. And there you go. In the blue stuff, Tuesday, September 22, that's where you can click on whatever's due by this date. Okay. Gotcha. It's also in the modules, but in case you can't find it in the modules, you can always come here as long as it's an assignment. That's why I've been giving the trainings as assignments, because some people couldn't find them in the modules. Okay. So someone asked me before, how come I'm not getting graded? The trainings aren't graded, but I'm grading them 0, but I'm making them into assignments so that they show up here. Right. Because otherwise you have to go to the modules, and I was finding that some people get lost in the modules. Yeah. So there you go. There's your assignment.
Thank you.
And if you look up to last week, Tuesday 15th, then that's where you find the ones that were due last week, which is why if you try to do them again, they don't open up because they're past exams. Gotcha. But the ones that are still white, they'll stay white until tonight. And let me just say that something was happening up until 2 weeks ago where here how it says 11:59 p.m. That means Pacific Standard Time. But someone who had left their assignment to the last minute couldn't open it. It said this thing is finished and whatever. And what we discovered is that when Cengage set up the assignment, the exam and the material, they had set it up for Eastern Standard Time. So that got, so anyone who tried to do it in the last 3 hours got told, oh, it's over because of the timing. Now that got fixed, 10 days at least ago now. But if, so that shouldn't be happening. But just in case you are on some other schedule, if some of you are not here on the West Coast, then be aware, please be aware to finish everything an hour or 2 or however many hours earlier you need in your time, because this is our Pacific Standard Time. And if you wait till you're midnight, you're doomed. Or no, the other way around, whatever. Yes, it should be fine as long as you're not in Hawaii. You can't, if you're on the East Coast, you'll be fine. But if you're anywhere on the other side of us, then you need to consider turning things in early. Okay.
Could you give me a breakout session with Katie, please?
What's that?
Can you give me a breakout session with Katie?
Except for that Katie is still with Stephanie. I can add you to her question, but if there's no other questions, maybe you can ask me. Otherwise, I'll continue on with today's thing. Ask me your question and I'll see if I need to send you to her or if I can help you here.
I can't see, I only see myself, you know, I don't see you.
But you can ask me the question even if you don't see me. I don't understand.
Well, I'd like to see you.
Oh. Did you pin yourself? Like go hover over your video, the 3 little dots, and see if maybe there's something that says unpin. Maybe you pinned yourself so you're seeing only you.
Okay.
Click on that. And if so, then you would see the unpin word. And if you don't see that, then that's not happening.
Okay, thank you.
Was that it? No?
I don't know.
It's a thought.
Bye.
All right. So everyone else who's been quietly listening in, Belém, Veronica, Xochitl, any questions? No? Things are working?
No.
How, you were trying to speak? No, you were just saying fine.
The only issue that I had was with VDI. When
Okay.
trying to submit my work, all of a sudden my student drive had a huge X on it. So I had to close it and then reopen it. And my file was there, but that's the only issue I ran into.
That's kind of scary because you had finished your work and then the student drive wasn't available. So, but you were working in your student drive, or where were you doing the work in?
I was working through VDI. I finished the document.
But where was that document you had opened up? Had
My
you left
student
it?
drive.
It was in the student drive too. You hadn't left it in the downloads or something like that. You had it
No.
in the student drive. Okay.
It was in my student drive. I had finished it and then I tried uploading it, submitting it, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
And then once I tried to submit it,
that's when you got the big
yeah.
one. Okay.
So I had to close it and then I redid it and it went through.
But you know what? The saving grace, though, is that you were doing it in this S drive. Because had you been doing it in the documents or downloads, like had you left it in the downloads, when you had to do that refresh, it might have disappeared. So everyone, thank you for saying that. Do put your stuff in the student drive, because even if the student drive at some point becomes unavailable, a refresh brings it up again, or a signing out of VDI and signing in again. And as long as it was in the S drive, it is in the school's computers, okay? So it just needs to refresh and then there it is. But if you had done that refresh and left it somewhere on the desktop or documents or something like that of the VDI, then it could have disappeared. So I'm glad you had it in the right place. So thanks for sharing that. We're learning with this whole VDI thing. There's so much stuff that we're learning and how to support you guys. You know, we've known forever how to do this, and then suddenly we're having to figure this whole thing out too. 2 things. I want to know what happened because I see that Katie's back, but Stephanie's not. So maybe she signed out. And then Vera wanted to head over to you. So let me move.
Oh no,
Let me move. I'm going to close Stephanie's room so that she can come.
She should have already jumped out.
Well, she's still in the room, I can see. So I've closed the room now so that she will be kicked out, but it'll take her a minute to be kicked out. So then she'll be with us. So what was up?
She was turning in the
report.
No, she was actually turning in the Hello side project that we did.
Oh.
But it was the correct name and we can't find the correct one, but she did it enough to print it out and she has pictures of it, but we can't find it inside anymore.
Did she do it in her own computer?
She was doing it in the VDI originally. There we go.
All right.
Okay.
So, hi, Stephanie. Can you hear us? Okay. So basically I was trying to get from Katie the report, and the reason And you're all like, well, that doesn't refer to me. But the reason I do want to talk these things through, because we are all learning what the problems are with this whole VDI, for better or for worse. And so this time you might have not experienced it, but you might next time. So that's why listening in is helpful for when you encounter these problems. So, so Katie said that you were turning in the wrong assignment. So that explains the 0 points. But then the one that you were actually doing it in, you can't find. And okay, so here's my question, which kind of right before you guys rejoined us, Belém was saying how she had worked on hers, and then when she tried to submit it, the S drive wasn't available. She refreshed and it was there. So my question was, do you know if you were working in the S drive in VDI, or did you have your stuff in the downloads or the documents or something like that? Because that would be a death knell to your assignment. Do you know where your file was when you were working on it?
I was conscious that it was in S drive. I never put it anywhere else.
But wait, how did it get into S drive? Did you put it in the S drive? Okay, you're sure. Okay, good. Because many times you just download and you start working on it. That one that you download and start working on is not in your S drive. So, okay. And so once you put it in the S drive, tell me a bit more what happened. I'm trying to understand too, because I wasn't there.
Full assignment from start to finish, and I told her that I printed it. I was able to print it, so that was kind of maybe a red flag, because if I was in VDI, maybe I wasn't able to print it. I don't know, but I have my assignment printed, and when I went and uploaded it into Submitted, I went through and I uploaded it, but that was it. I never got like the 4 check marks. I got 1 check mark, and then I thought I pressed submit, but I guess I didn't. I don't really know, because today I went and submitted it and I got the 4 check marks and the 0 report. 0 out of
But that makes sense, because it seems you were turning in the wrong assignment.
Yeah,
so that would make sense.
Named.
The 4 check marks just mean that you got the right name on it. So you put the right name, but on the wrong file. And so that's what that check mark means. And it means that it went through, it didn't have viruses and that kind of stuff, but it doesn't mean the assignment is correct. Those 4 check marks just mean Sam received it. Yay, now we can correct it. And then Sam corrected it, and then the report it said, whoops, 0, because it just said hello. So that all makes sense. The question is what you did the other day when you say you submitted it and you didn't get the check marks, but that you said you could print it, and that is weird. You shouldn't be able to print in your house from VDI.
Right. Yeah. So obviously I did something wrong.
Now, well, no, but this means, did you look in your computer? Do you have Word in your computer?
I've been trying to find it in my computer to see if, maybe and I'm going to still try to look and see if I can find it somewhere, which is, but I can't find it anywhere.
And you went into Word, did you go to Recents from Word? And when you go into Recents, it would...
I went in Recents, I went in Downloads, I went in my...
But in Word, when you say Recents, what happens? Does it say can't find the file? What does it say?
No, I just look. I just scroll through and I can't find anything remotely that's named anything like it.
So there's two or three different Recents. There's a Recents from Windows. Are you on a Windows or a Mac?
Mac.
There's the Recents from Windows, there's the Recents from Mac, there's the Recents from VDI, and then there's the Recents from inside of Word. And then if you own Word on your computer versus if you own Word inside of VDI, like, so, like, you should open up Window, like, since if people don't own it, then the only option is VDI. But since you own it, now the question is, did you do it on the Mac or did you do it in VDI? And if you did it on the Mac, when you open Word, there's the Recents of the Mac, and then in VDI there's the Recents of the Windows version, right? Yeah. So did you check on those, Katie, maybe, you guys?
I'm gonna go through all of those and see, but But in order to get this assignment, I'm gonna have to do it over, right?
Well, if you can find it, no, that's why I'm trying to go clearly through all the possible
I
options. If you did do it, it's somewhere. If you didn't trash it, it's somewhere.
No, I didn't trash.
The only question where it might have disappeared is if you did do it in VDI and it wasn't in the S drive. That's the only possibility where it truly is gone and you just need to do it again.
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
That
So
was VDI.
So you were in VDI and maybe it wasn't actually in the S drive. Now, you guys, that is the one thing that I can do nothing about, because if it's not in the S drive and it disappears, it does disappear. So what I think you should start doing is that when you are working on an assignment in VDI, even if it's in the S drive, I mean, not even if it, like, make yourself an alarm, a post-it note, anything. Don't close out of VDI other than making completely sure it's in the S drive, saving as to the S drive, even if you need to save as again and again, to make sure you're putting it in there. Plan B is to copy it into the Google Drive as a backup. So I can show you a bit of that now. But anyway, yeah.
So if I find it in my Mac somewhere, you want me to save it to my Google Drive?
If it's in your Mac, no. If it's in your Mac, it's fine. It's in your Mac. Just submit it. But if you are in VDI and you don't have it in the S drive, that's where it can get lost. And there's a Google Drive in the S drive, in the VDI, where you can put it. Okay. But I mean, the place it belongs is in the S drive. But if for chance you guys are working in the S drive, and since I can't give you 100 total 100% assurance that something won't happen with the S drive. I mean, nothing, only once, right? You said, Katie, in the past, someone had something in the S drive that disappeared. You mentioned someone from some statistics course or something like that.
Oh.
I don't know. So I guess it could happen, but for the most part, it doesn't disappear from the S drive. What happens is you lose contact with the S drive, like happened to Belen, and then you need to refresh it and the S drive shows up again, and there it is. I still have stuff in the S drive from 4 years ago when I showed it the first time. And so the S drive is a computer. It's a drive that the school owns, and it's not dependent on VDI. So once you put it in the S drive, it belongs, that file exists in a place which exists functionally, so to say, in the school, in some part of the school, in a drive that would have to, you know, I'm sure they have backups or not, but would have to crash. The whole school would have to crash. But everything else in VDI is virtual and fake and doesn't belong to us. It's just showing you stuff, you know what I mean? Which is why putting it in the S drive saves it in an actual place that's, that then we can have tech people go in and check what happened. It was in the S drive and it's gone. You know what I mean? Because it is an actual real place. Does that make sense at all? Anyway, so if you want help to keep trying to, I don't know if you need, do you know how to go into the Word, opening Word resets beyond the Finding the Explorer resets? Let me just show really quickly what I mean, because this might happen to all of you guys at some point. Today, I'm really trying to support you through getting assignments done. Then we're going to start about how to get the next assignments done. But let me get this running here and do a share. Meanwhile, if you have any other questions that Katie might be able to answer while I'm setting this up to show you the Word, please speak up. She's right there.
Okay, I have a question about the grading with regards to, I know there was an issue with the SAM and the Cengage transferring over to our grades. And was that resolved? Because just like moving forward, what should we expect as far as like when we submit something, it gets graded? What's the turnaround time? Should it be immediate or sometimes there's a lag?
So
sometimes there's a lag, but that's in rare occasions. Usually it's within a couple minutes. Okay. Like it switches over, but like every so often it does do it. So
I
you
mean,
wait
it's-
a day.
Yeah, so here's the thing. The report should happen pretty immediately. So, but that's not the grade, that's just the report, right? So you submit and the report is available right there. That
Okay.
should not lag, okay?
Yeah,
'Cause-
I'm just talking more so about it transferring
Yeah.
over to the grade so that I could
Yeah.
go back. Like for
I
instance.
know, I know your question, but I'm trying to clarify for everyone
Oh, okay.
what the steps are. When you submit, the report comes in there immediately. And in that report, you kind of see your grade, right? But that's within the whole like thing. You submit, you report, you submit, you report. But from Sam has to send it to Canvas. And that's the process from Sam to Canvas that sometimes, rarely, but occasionally, because, you know, the world and internet and stuff happens, there might be some lag. But you do know your grade if it's in Sam, and I do know it too. So don't worry if it's not in Canvas immediately. But if after a day or two it's not there, sound the alarm and tell me, hey, my grade doesn't seem to have transferred. Because what happened last week is that the grades weren't transferring and I had to manually sync the grades for them to upgrade. So I don't know that until one of you tells me, hey, my grade didn't appear in Canvas. So don't tell me immediately, but after a day, it should be there. After in a few hours, usually after a couple of hours, for sure, it should be there. They say give it 24 hours. Like Sam's disclaimer is give it 24 hours, but I have never seen it not show up in 24 hours unless there's been a problem that I need to then manually sync the grade. So if it's been 24 hours, I need to go in personally.
Okay, so
resync the grades. But I've only had to do it, and I'm telling you, I've been teaching with Sam and Cengage and all of this for what, 5 years now. I've only had to resync the grades like twice, and one of them was last week. So this is a very rare situation, but it does happen.
So because I jumped ahead of myself a little bit and started on the project 1A, and I submitted it and I got the report for it and everything. And I noticed just today, because I think you mentioned on a previous Zoom meet that I think you start to allow us to work ahead on Wednesday. So I see it as an option for the grade, if that makes sense, but I haven't seen it transferred over. So maybe it's just because it's too soon.
Well, I did notice someone had already submitted one of the SAM assignments, which I thought, oh, someone's ahead of time. So if that was you, I did go and check on grades today, but let me.
I mean, it's not a big deal because I'm planning on going back in and probably seeing if I can get a higher grade on it.
Okay, so Sarah, hold on your question. I'm set up here with Word. I'm going to open Word just to show Stephanie how to check. Because if you are on VDI, so now I'm in VDI. And this is the situation where in VDI, I opened Word. So this is not my personal Word. But when I go back to File and I try to go to Recents, it just tells me you haven't opened any document recently. Although I know I did. See, if this were your home version of Windows or Word, you would see here a whole listing of everything you've been opening, okay? The fact that I have to sign out and sign in and this is being deleted is really a bummer. I was trying to check that out and I had this happen with the Adobe programs and I talked to tech support and they were able to fix it for me where people could keep their history. So I'm going to actually go ahead and talk to tech support to see if they can do that with the Office programs too, where you can keep seeing what you worked on the other weeks. It seems to me, that it should have. I was going to say hopefully in this recent you would see it, but it's not showing up. So yeah, so this won't be of any help. The other place is the actual Windows Explorer recents. So you go over here to your recents and interestingly enough, why isn't there a recents in this one? There should be a recents here. Huh. Do they not have a recents in VDI?
Doesn't look like it.
Because in the regular Windows, you have a recents option here. or you can see the recent stuff. So I think it has to do with the whole fact that it keeps resetting itself. That's going to be a bit of a problem for people who don't save your stuff well. I was hoping to show you that here you could go to Recents, or in Word you can go to Recents, and in both options I'm finding that in VDI you can't go to Recents. So that's bad news. So yeah, all I can say is that
So I'm gonna go and get this project done then.
go, yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. But don't.
So immediately after I download, I need to save it to the S drive.
Yeah, because when you go to your downloads, and people who like to work on their desktop or stuff like that, and they do that, all of the downloads in desktop, see how I downloaded a bunch of stuff last week, but see how now it says this folder is empty? Okay. It's because once you are in VDI, it erases everything. So instantly you need to grab that stuff and put it in your S document. In your S drive, look at the files here. I have stuff from 2018, 2017. The stuff doesn't leave the S drive. It's 2020 right now, okay? So put it in there first and then work on it. All right? Okay. So I'm not gonna share now, but I am gonna go check the grade, Sarah, to see if your grade has transferred, just to test the theory. So what's your last name? Hold on. H. No, I do not have your SAM project. I do have one person's SAM project, but not yours. So you're saying that you did submit your SAM project? Sarah? I can't hear you.
Yes, I did submit it, and I even have the report.
Well, if I go into SAM, I'll find it. Well, go ahead. But meaning I'll go in now to SAM to see, because if I have to be hand transferring the grades all the time, which at this point I wouldn't be surprised, SAM has been such a problem this entire session, that then I'll just know that, you know, every day or two I should just go in and do a manual reset. But they did say, the Cengage people told me, if the manual set works, let me know. And I said, yeah, it worked. But if it continues to not work, then I could probably go back to them and go, hey, you know, it's working, but it's not working for all the time, because I really don't want to have to be doing this all the time. So let me go. I'm in SAM. Give me a sec, guys, and then I'll be with everyone again. But this helps everyone because I'm trying to. So I'm going into the SAM assignments for.
I don't know if it helps, but I submitted it on September 19th.
No, I mean, that's fine. Okay. But no, all I need right now is to go to the assignments. And where's my word? The word assignments. Here we go. SAM is, I don't like the system at all. But here we go. Module 1, SAM. Project 1A is the one you did? Yeah, there's your grade.
Yeah.
92%. So see, this is really depressing to me as a teacher to see that the grades aren't transferring automatically.
Yeah, because initially when I did it, like I said, like, you know, I looked it up under my grades, but it wasn't under the list as far as like something that could be graded yet. So, and I was thinking,
as long as you can submit it, it can be graded. If it's available, I opened it up this morning, you know, 5 a.m. or so. The module unlocks, and at that point, it's available. I'm syncing the grades again now. But remember earlier I said, everyone go check your grades, tell me something's wrong. At that point, that's when this is what I was trying to figure out. No one else spoke up, but now that you spoke up, I'm syncing them again. And when I do that, it tells me, wait 24 hours. So tomorrow around 6:46 p.m., if the grade hasn't shown up, can you please let me know? because then I really need to talk with Cengage and see what the, okay?
Okay.
Because I see your grades. So don't worry. The grades are there. Sam has your grades. It's not like you can tell me I did it. And if Sam doesn't have it, it's not submitted. So it's Canvas that might not have your grade, but I do see your grades here. So it's not like you lose your grading. No one worry in that sense. I tried to say, don't relax. It's the process of it automatically transfer versus me having to type in by myself your grade. That's what I'm trying to avoid, but I do see your grade.
Okay, thank you.
And now I set another manual sync, and it should, in 24 hours, is what they say should be showing up. And if it doesn't show up, then there's a real problem here, because I don't want to be hand transferring. Oh, it showed up. Go to Canvas. It's there. It didn't take 24 hours. It took a minute. Now it's there. You tell me if you see it. Refresh your grades. But I just refreshed my grades and it's in Canvas now. But it's not okay that I have to do it by hand, so I'll have to figure it out. Okay, so much for grades, and for everything else. Jeremy, is it much nicer to work out of the book now? Is it nicer to work out of the book? All right. So
yes, and thank you. I liked your tortoise.
Oh. All right. I can't hear. Jeremy had to come all the way over to my house, and where do you live? Hours away, right? You're somewhere
Long
in the
Beach.
south, Long Beach. He had to come all the way to my place to pick up a books that Cengage sent to him because they hadn't sent it. Anyway, long story. I do my best to deliver, but you did your part in trying to get it by coming here, so thank you. Trying to help everyone. The guy from Cengage said, oh, you're such a great teacher. And I'm like, well, yeah, I guess I'm a great teacher, but why? Because you care so much about your students. I'm like, I guess because I'm spending so much time trying to fix all the problems that they made. I swear. I'm like, I have never spent, my husband's like, what's up? You're working all the time. Like, I know, there's such a disaster in the background. For example, now I have to hand transfer the grades. It's like, anyway, so hopefully there's other reasons I'm a good teacher too, but I'm really trying hard to make those that, if you guys are frustrated, you have no idea how frustrated I am with everything that's happening. This is very, very frustrating to me too.
So just to let you know, it did come through. I do see it on my grades, but it's coming up as 9.2.
Yeah.
So
that's what I got. Well, I have 92%, so
yeah,
that's a grade I have too.
Okay.
Is that what you remember having?
I was just questioning it because on the last module, the first one that we submitted, it's actually giving me a percentage, like a grade percentage. I don't know. I'm just mentioning that because I don't know if that's
okay. That's probably because the default grades should be showing up as points. There you go. You're right. Now I just changed that. They should all be showing up as points.
Okay.
Sam has them as percentages, and then I transferred them to points in Canvas, but you're right, the last one showed up as percentages. Now it's all right in points.
Okay.
So if you refresh, you should see points in the other one as well. Okay, so guys, I'm going to do a quick share of my PowerPoint here. Jumping through. Check your grades, we did that. Oh, this one, good thing. I always know I need to show this because I have things that remind me. This class, if it's required for your degree, you need to take it as a course that's for degree. Let me move this out of the way. But if you perchance don't need it for your degree, and when you want to shift to a pass, no pass versus a grade, you can. And I've only had one person ever do that, but it's possible. And if so, there's a form you need to fill in, talk to your counselor. I need to have it by Thursday because it's due on Friday because I need to sign it. So this is just a reminder for anyone who wants that to happen. If that's something you want, you need to talk to your counselor. Today we were going to review what happened to the textbook project to see how to make corrections with the reports, and then we were going to start working on the module 2. But given everything that's been happening, I'm going to leave working with module 2 next week. And I'm going to ask you guys at most to start with a training. And basically we're going to have 2 SAM assignments due next week. So that's what we're going to do next. So today, what's due is module 1 textbook project and computer concepts exam. That's due tonight. And a few of you guys who needed it are already out here and doing it. My goal after this first few weeks, other than access, the rest of the time, the first hour and a half is all of this lecture time. And then the rest of the time is just Katie and I here to help you do your assignments. So if you want to do your assignments while we are here, this would be equivalent to those Zoom hours I'm talking about, where both Katie and I can help you, right? So if right now you're trying to do your assignment and you need help, I can send you off with Katie. And then when I'm done talking, I can be here to help too. But if you haven't done either one of these 2, get to work. Next week, we need to have projects SAM 1A and 1B. So they're going to be exactly the same as what we did, except for instead of the instructions being in the textbook, the instructions are going to be in a Word file that you're going to download from the same place you download your start files, okay? And both of them are pretty much the same thing. It's 2 more flyers. So it's the same skills, similar skills that you've learned. It's just practicing more of the same, right? So if there's a place where you don't know what to do, you have to refer to the textbook to figure out how to do it. So you go to the download and you go not only just the start files, but you also have to download the instructions. Complete the project, submit for a grade, review for a grade. So it's exactly the same, except for you also need to download the instructions, okay? For each module, you need to complete 2 projects. As what I just said, they go fast. You do not start from a blank page. That's the important difference. The start files for the SAM projects already give you stuff. So you know how for the textbook project, you have to type every single thing in? SAM does not do that. It gives you a file where maybe you have the text in it, and now what you need to do is format it, add the pictures, do that kind of stuff, but you do not, it might ask you to type something in, but they go faster. So that's why we can give you 2 if you want at the same time. And they're worth the same amount. So be careful though, because don't go ahead and try to do the SAM project with having done the text one. Some people miss one and then they go, well, I'll just do the SAM. You're better off doing the textbook project first, because that's the one that you have all of the book walking you through the whole stuff. If you just try to do the textbook projects, you won't have the right information. It just says, change the font to this, and it doesn't show you how to change the font, okay? So you're gonna be doing 2 projects at a time for a total of 20 points, but after this week, you're actually gonna be doing 3 projects at a time. You're gonna be doing textbook and 2 SAMs for module 2, for Excel, for PowerPoint, for Access. You're gonna be doing 3 assignments a week. And I'm just telling you this so that you start getting an idea of how much work you're gonna have to do per week. We start you guys slowly, right? But once you get accustomed to the system of how to correct and turn it in and review and all of that, which is what we've been doing up until now, as of next week, you're going to have the textbook project for module 2 and the 2 SAM projects due in the future. Does that make sense? Next week, it's only the 2 SAM projects, but the following week, you're going to have 3 textbook and 2 more for module 2. So be gearing up in your brain for how that's going to work. But you won't have exams, you know, like now you wouldn't having to do the textbook and the exam and stuff like that. So the amount of work per week is about the same, but I'm trying to explain the difference. So here's how to do it. You've done this already. You submit, you click, you start, you get these, but this is where it changes a little bit in that you have the instruction file as well that you did not have before. I'm gonna do something cute. Today I always do the spotlight, but I'm gonna do instead this guy, which allows me to, there. I don't like where it went. There. So you can't forget the instruction file, plus the start file, plus the support file, okay? But this is the one that we didn't have to do before. Plus you might also have the reading for people who want to do the ebook, but you don't need to do that if you have the book. I hate because this arrow turns into something that doesn't click. So I need to go back in here to get my regular arrow. So that was good enough. That's better. So this is how you're going to get this assignment, okay? And it's not precisely this one, but you're going to get is these are the instructions, okay? So the whole project is going to be written like this: do this, do that, do that, do that, do that, and then the third page is going to show you what you need to do. It'll be in color, but it'll show you what it needs to look like. So the one, you know how for the textbook project, I told you the first page shows you the final thing. In the instructions, it's the last page that shows you what your flyer needs to look like. And these are just the steps, okay? This is an example of what the flyer, the start file will look like. This is an assignment. This isn't the assignment you have due for this week, but this is, see how it's already half written. It's just unformatted, and what you need to make it look for it to be done is actually over here, right? So this is what it needs to look like. But what you get as a start file is much more complete than the textbook project. Any questions? So you're gonna have steps like this telling you what to do. So basically it'll jump through project steps. Do this, do that, here's a name, capitalize, change, center. So if there's anything here that you don't know how to do, you need to refer to the book. If you don't remember how to, for example, change the spacing of the paragraphs. Here it just tells you to change it. And if you go, where did that happen? I don't remember. Well, then go back to your textbook project because it's the same thing you probably already had to do.
Give us 10 chances too, or is it different?
What's that?
Does it also give us a 10 opportunities to go back? And
Yeah, I did it for all of them. These screenshots are, as of last year, we were only giving, and all the other comp courses only give 3 chances, but I have undergone a transformation in my belief. So I am giving you all 10 points. So in your assignments, you'll see that it says 10 points, yes.
Okay. Where can we find our next test? Are we gonna have a test soon?
I think it's week 7. I can go look at my schedule. Week 7 or 8, you will have, no, we still have to go through all of Excel. We're gonna have midterms where you're gonna get tested on Word and Excel. I can go look right now, but I don't have it in front of me. When I get off of PowerPoint, I'll tell you when. Okay. And then at the end, and then we'll do Access in PowerPoint, and at the end, week 16, you'll be tested on Access in PowerPoint. So that's it.
Okay.
So the rest of this whole bunch of weeks is all assignments like what you did for this week. Except for those 2 hands-on exams, they'll be just like the Windows one where you'll have to be doing, for example, change the paragraph spacing to before 6 points, and you'll have to perform that. But that'll come after Excel. So we still have like, yeah, I don't know. I have to look. I don't want to just throw out the week number until I look, because I don't want you to start preparing for something. When I'm done with this, I'll show you. I'll tell you. There is an opportunity to redo the Office or the Computer Concepts exam. If you hate how you did, then on week 15, I believe, or 14, I will give you a chance to retake one of them, not both. So one of them. So say you really did really bad on the Computer Concepts exam, well, then you can take it again at that point, and then you'll have all of these weeks to study for it. Okay. So once you are done, you'll upload it again. And this is the same old, this I went through last week. You've already had to do it for today. So you'll get the reports, you'll submit, you'll get the reports. And, oh, there you go. There's the answer. You get up to 10 times to do it. You submit. All that matters to me is the deadline. by the deadline. And I've been a bit lenient. You guys aren't precisely the ones who are here who have had to be lenient with, but there were so many issues with the course and the assignments and the SAM that although at the beginning I was like, no, well, late assignments allowed, I did allow some people to do the assignments late because, you know, the first 2 weeks were such a mess. But now it's true. Okay. So unless you're, you know, COVID, reach out to me if there's a real problem, but assignments after the deadline are due, they're due. That's it. After 10 times before that, but after that they're due. Okay. So make sure that you respect the deadlines. So anyway, you view the reports. And this is the part where I want to talk a little bit more about the reports. As it shows here, if the request was to change the theme colors and you didn't, or you did, but you got the wrong color, it doesn't tell you, oh, you gave me the theme with blues. It just repeats the theme colors should be red, orange. So in this case, it would be pretty obvious, right? But maybe there was something that looked orange and you clicked on orange instead of red, orange. And sometimes you don't see that until you get someone to point it out to you. Remember what I was saying at the beginning? So if you are sure that you choose red, orange and the report has to be wrong, leave time, do these assignments early to leave time to go to one of those Zoom room times with tutors, because they'll look at it and they go, well, maybe you clicked on orange, red. And they're like, what? Orange, red, red, orange. And they'll go, yeah, sorry, but it's really orange. It's red, orange, and orange, red. It's a simple, it's as persnickety as that. But they will have gone through it with enough people that when you have that question, they'll be like, yeah, we know. It's because it really should be the orange, red, and not the red, orange, or something like that. Meaning, not that the instruction is wrong, but that maybe there's something that's called red tangerine and you clicked on that instead of red orange, right? And so you won't be able to notice that sometimes. If you're stuck on a point, go ahead and go to those places. Resize the picture. The picture of the car should be 3 inches tall. And I have had people, the request is all of these things, right? And so you're supposed to make it that much tall, make it a simple frame, black, apply gold, accent color 2, glow picture, perfect. And you think you did it all right. And then when you come in here, they're all wrong. Sometimes it's not that they're all wrong, but one of them makes the rest of them wrong. You'll see this in Excel mainly, but sometimes in Word it happens too, where if you get one thing wrong that kind of cascades through the answers, where if you get the first one wrong, like if the paragraph was wrong set up at the beginning, then all the rest of the paragraphs are falling out. So why are the spacings and the end wrong is because you got the spacing wrong in the very first headline. So by getting that size wrong in the first headline, all your spaces have moved over. So you get wrong, 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 wrong. But it's because the initial thing that made it wrong made all the rest of them show up as wrong. Does that make sense what I'm trying to say? So you go.
Yeah, that happened to me.
There, yeah. So then when you finally fix that first one, the rest of them just kind of boom, 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 they just drop in. And if you were to even submit it right then, you'll discover that a lot of the stuff, and it's not always, but like in Excel, it'll be, if you got one, you know, imagine you get one number wrong at the beginning and you do 20 other calculations, they will all be wrong. But the moment you fix that first calculation, the rest will all be right because they're based on that answer. Does that make sense? So that can happen in Word as well. So do you remember, Vera, what point was it that this kind of thing happened to you?
I think it was number 3.
Okay, but what the issue was, or that
Yeah,
then
I didn't have the comma.
Oh, okay. So yeah, okay. So she had like 2 or 3 things that kept saying that were wrong. And in the end, when she just added a comma, boom, 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 the rest were right because that whole line, that whole paragraph was correct now. And so she kept coming up as wrong and she couldn't figure out what it was. And it was just
It happened to me. It happened to me too. It looks like I didn't put the right paragraph spacing. So yeah, in the headline.
Okay. Yeah.
So I lost everything else on that. point structure, yeah.
Yeah, so then when you go and fix whatever that first one was, then the rest, the computer goes, oh, this makes sense now. Now it's correct because I see this showing up where it has to be, right? So don't get too panicked when you see a lot of red. Sometimes it's a simple correction to fix it all. And other times there's just one red line that no matter how much you try to fix, everything else is fine, but you try to fix it and you can't. And the solution to that sometimes is just, well, redo that point because there's something inherently wrong in that whole thing that you just need to redo for it to show up correctly. That's the frustrating part. The good news about it, and at first I was really as frustrated as a student about it, but now I get that as you keep trying to fix it, guess what? You do end up learning a lot because you have to get into the guts of the document and start seeing what those hidden characters are and how come, where do you mean there's an extra return here? I don't see it. And then you go, oh, this is how I figure out what I did wrong. Because that's real life in the end. When you have a document in front of me, you won't even have anything telling you what's wrong. You'll just look at it and the format will be wrong and you can't figure it out. So you'll have to be able to get in there and get into understanding why it's not doing what you want it to do. So correcting these things in the end, I think when I've sat through people having to fix their things is getting you a much more nuanced practice into editing yourself and getting into the guts of it. So see it as a learning process, this whole corrections. Okay. And Katie's like, yeah, you're trying to put a nice spin on it, but I am. I mean, you guys, you tutors, when you became tutors, you knew as much as you knew. And by helping people correct stuff, now you know it so well, right? Nothing better than having to do it again and again and again. So that's why I'm thinking 10 times to do it. You'll be experts if you actually do really keep trying. You'll really know how to get in there and make it work. Okay. Once you think you've done as much as you've done, you submit it again. So you go back and load it up again. You do the whole submission process again. And then when it comes up, hopefully you've gone up to only 75% out of 100, right? And you still have a few wrong. So then you can just, there were so many things wrong at first that you couldn't tackle them all. Now you tackle the next one and you try to figure out what was wrong with that one and so on and so forth. Okay. Anything that, if I can say one thing that really helps is to really double check your work against that example, the example in your textbook or the example at the end of the instructions, because if it doesn't look in even the slightest little detail like that, it's because something's wrong. Okay. So if you look at it and go, it's yeah, it looks pretty good, but not exactly right, then you can assume you're getting a lot of red in your reports. So you can preempt that by saying, well, here's my final assignment. Here's what it's supposed to look like. And I can already see that the shading is different. Well, this, you know, now before when you only had 3 submissions, it was really important that you check with your eyes before you submit it. Now by giving you 10, I think that it's fine to just submit when you're done, get your report, and then start working on it again. But you can get mired in the whole what the report is saying versus just sometimes you just need to redo it again to learn it again. And that's why it's wrong, because you didn't learn it the first time. You know what I mean? And then just that's all it takes. And then you finally try it again. And this time it works. It's because now you've learned it. All right. I can totally see when Vera, when you smile, I can totally see you've been through the trenches. You've done it. You went, you know, you tried it, and you know that what I'm saying is so. And I'm not sure how many of you others did that I can go check how many times people submitted actually, but I haven't done that yet. But it does tell me. But I assure you that the more you submit, the less you won't have to study for the exam. Your studying for the exam is happening in having to correct these things and resubmit. So if you got 70% and you're like, it's fine, you are cheating yourself out of learning by not trying for that 100%, because it's that 30% that you're not trying to get, because, you know, hey, C is fine, B is fine. It's that little difference that makes really knowing, understanding the assignment versus just kind of passing grade. Does that make sense? So I'm not telling you have to resubmit. If you're happy with the 70%, go for it. But if you do try and you do submit 2 or 3 more times, you will really learn. So I would highly suggest to try to really learn by trying to go to those reports. Okay. I'm kind of done with reports. Yeah.
I have a question about that. There was one thing on there that when I fixed the spell check in the document, it corrected everything. I went back through and fixed the words, but removed the squiggly lines under the wrong words or the grammar mistakes. And I got that wrong, but I didn't know how to go back and reset it.
Okay, so you were broken. So I will repeat what I think you said and tell me if this is what you said. You said that when you went to correct the spell check, that instead of correcting only the one word, you actually got everything corrected. And thus later you didn't have the squiggly line where you needed it. I think that's what I understood you to say. No? Try again.
Yes.
Oh.
I fixed the one word. And then it took all the editing. I still needed to fix what needed to be fixed, but I had to hunt for it. But it still counted me as wrong, so I didn't know if I did something wrong.
Okay, so what you're saying is that when you fixed one, all of the squiggly lines disappeared? Well, that's bizarre-ish in the sense that you are the one who needs to tell it to check the whole document. So maybe it asked you, should I check the whole document? And you didn't notice and you said, okay. But it wouldn't check the whole document unless you ask it to. But were you doing it with the right click and use a suggestion when you had that happen? Or were you doing it through the review spell check? When did this happen?
I don't remember. It was just part of the instructions. I don't remember when I did it.
Let me see if I can go back into my Word. I don't have the assignment open, but I'm gonna share. So, let me just open Word again. I thought I had left it open, but I guess I closed it. So so if I write making a typo, so why is it not coming up as a typo? Come on, making is not a word. Is making a word? It should be showing up as a typo. Okay, let me write conscious instead of conscious. Yeah, okay. So if you do the right click and fix from here, there is no reason why it would correct anything else unless it's truly a one-by-one step when you do it this way. Like it would only fix this word. If you have other squiggles here, it doesn't even fix that word, even if you repeated that mistake 3 more times. So this isn't the time where you'd get that mistake. But if you went over to review spelling, then in that moment, there is the place where you can say, go ahead and fix all of them at the same time. So do you think it happened in this mode?
No, it was the right click. I did the right click, fixed the word clean, I think. And then when I went to look at the rest of the document to fix it, the squigglies were gone. So I just had to hunt and back and find which ones needed a space or a comma, whatever.
Yeah, because they have you type it in incorrectly. And then they have you mean when they say type it in incorrectly, you had to go find where you typed it in incorrectly? Because the commas, those things, you would have had to look for yourself anyway. You're not going to have things like commas be picked up for you. Something I was about to come up into right now, let me share my PowerPoint again, because I do have precisely a point to make about that. So let me, what was coming up next was, my extra credit of the week that I will not give points for, but I'm still going to ask you guys about it, which are, when you have a squiggly line that's red, what does the red squiggly line mean? You're all welcome to just give it a shout.
The word's not spelled correctly.
Not spelled correctly.
Mm-hmm. Red is not spelled correctly. How about green?
Green is grammar.
Mm-hmm. So, by the way, red, where it says not in dictionary, that doesn't mean that it's always misspelled. So I just want to be clear because, for example, my name always gets squiggled, and that's because it's a bizarre name. So if it's a foreign language word or something like that, it might get squiggled too, but it really means that it's not in the dictionary. I just want to be specific because it could be that it's, you know, just that it's not. It might just be more than that. Okay. The green one, you guys, someone said grammar, right?
Yep.
So, yep. You can count on it that if it's red, I hate that this doesn't show up. You can count on it that if it's red, it is wrong. Do not leave a red squiggled word available because it's wrong. If it's in foreign language that's right, or a name, you should say add to the dictionary if it's your name, something you'll be writing a lot, so that it never shows up again. Or if it's the name of a company where they wrote Quickie Mart with a K, well, then you should also right click and say add to the dictionary. That way it doesn't keep showing up as mistake. And so what you want at the end of the game is no red squiggled words, either because they are correct in a bizarre way of typing like my name and you have to add it to the dictionary, or because it's wrong. So you shouldn't leave any red squiggles available. But I would venture to say that the green is a hit and miss. Okay. So you would think grammatically a comma needs to be there. No, it doesn't always catch them. Something very obvious like ice cereal for breakfast, that might be picked up. But some of the others, sometimes, including in this assignment, was it Cecile the other day, you were saying that it wasn't picking up? Katie,
Yes.
you were telling me it just wasn't picking up.
Mm-hmm.
I even have it written here. The grammar mistakes are hit and miss. For better or for worse, the program also learns from you and how you write. In a way, it has this artificial intelligence, and the more advanced the program is, meaning we're at 2019, the more it also knows how you write, and it might discover that you're someone who likes to write always with like Yoda, where you put the verb in front of the sentence, and it just begins to learn that you always think that's right and don't correct it. Then it just stops showing them up for you. Because for people who write that way, it's very frustrating to have it always pointed out that it's wrong. But for people who really would have preferred it, it isn't being pointed out. So I wouldn't trust the green ones. I would check them and see if they are right. But in the end, I don't think it does a very good job of grammar correction. It still is up to you. So when you said you had to hunt and peck for the corrections, that's pretty much, unless it's a typo, that's pretty much par for the course. And sometimes things get underlined and it wasn't wrong. And you purposely wrote it that way, so you can have it ignore that correction, right? How about the blue? What does a blue mean? Does anyone remember? There was red, green, and blue.
Isn't it something with grammar?
It has to do with the grammar in a way, and that's one of those red dots. It's, anyone want to venture? It is. So who said grammar? I don't know. Who said it could be something about grammar? Belém? So you are 90% right. So here's the thing. It's more like a contextual problem. And again, sometimes it figures it out or not. It's not so much grammar, but suddenly there's a word that doesn't make sense. So in a way, it is the grammar that picks it up, but it's a different color because really they're telling you, did you really mean to write one? Wasn't it maybe one? Or was it then and not then? But again, I think 2019 is much better than it used to be in 2016, but you know, come on, poetry, how can Word expect to really know what you're trying to write? So if you're writing some very prosaic, basic, obvious sentences, then maybe, yeah, it'll pick it up correctly. But this is the kind of stuff that never got checked before with spell check, because in the end, this word is correct and this word is correct, right? But it wasn't so much this, but more like this kind of problem that it's still, you know, people, come on, I hate to say I'm one of those grammar Nazis. I look at how people text and I'm like, you know, I tear my hair out because of the we're and your and we've and then it drives me crazy. But Word, although it tries to do a good job, it still isn't perfect. But when you see a squiggle of any color, check it out. But don't trust. The only one you can truly trust is the red squiggle, the typos. The rest, you gotta go with the flow, reread it and decide that what you think. Okay. So to what you were saying, Jeremy, yeah, if you had to hunt and peck for the rest, that would be normal. Now, were you according to the assignment, and maybe you can tell me because you're more aware of what people have been experiencing, Katie, in the assignment since you've been supporting them. Was there a place where people were getting told to do spell checks that what he says sounds familiar to you, that it didn't spell check correctly? Have you had someone?
We haven't had anyone current, but I know you can hit the correct all button instead of the normal just one at a time sometimes, but that would be if it was like a weird word or something that you needed to do, or there were multiple words.
Yeah, like
that need
sometimes you
correcting.
know that you've always used the word incorrectly, like you know, like either you know you spelled it wrong and it's one of those things that you always do wrong, so you can just trust that you probably got it wrong. So then you check the first one and then you tell it check the rest and shift them all, because you know I know that I made that mistake all the time. Or I don't know, there's a couple of mistakes people make all the time, so that might have been what happened. But what you're saying is different because your mistakes were different, they were separate, right? So it wouldn't have been
Yes,
that either.
they were.
So it wouldn't have been that either.
They were the mistakes that the assignment requests that you make. But then once I fixed the one, it eliminated all the other squiggles.
Yeah, I
could have hit something accidentally, but I don't think I did.
Yeah, I don't, since all these mistakes it asks you to do are of different type, I don't really see how that technically could have happened. I'm not disputing that it didn't. I just don't have the answer as to why it did, because it's not intelligent enough to run through and go and correct your whole document. And it shouldn't, because of these kind of things. Maybe it wasn't something you would have wanted wrong. So it should stop at each place unless you forcefully said, yeah, all my eithers, change them into the right thing. It doesn't usually just go in and correct for you. So I'm not sure what happened there. Are you on a Mac or on the VDI? Or on a PC?
VDI.
Because VDI basically means PC. When I say Mac or VDI.
Mac or VDI.
Because I do know that the Mac version of 2016 Word, the spell check wasn't as good as the PC version. But if you're on VDI, you're using the PC version. So yeah, I'm out of ideas. I don't know why that happened. But, okay. All right, any other questions there? I'm going to give a quick, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Shoot, I need to pick up Zoom again for that. Almost done with the PowerPoint, just the assignments that are due next week, to be clear. And
results of my concept exam.
You don't see them?
Now, how do I see them? I didn't print them out or look at the answers.
You don't. You wouldn't get
You don't get a report?
you get at the end when you're done with the thing, when you submit, or it submits for you because you've completed everything, it tells you right then and there. It gives you a little box that says you got 32%, you got 82%, you got 95%, right then and there. And after that, the only other place for you to see it is in the grades.
Okay, so
You don't get a report like you do for
Gotcha.
the assignments. No.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, that's not available. Okay, so this week's no, this is not. So hold on. This is MLA. Hold on. I'm done then with my PowerPoint. The rest in the way I used to teach this, by now I'd be teaching you MLA, but we haven't done that yet. And let me just look. I'm looking at the rest of the assignments that I have here. We're excited. Okay, so then this is the only other one to show you. What to do next week again is just these two. Now, one thing I don't have up there, and I will put up there, is the training for Module 2. I'll just go ahead and make it available so that people who want to get a heads up because they finished these want to do it. Some people like working ahead, but other than that, this is the only thing that's due. Oh, why does it say each assignment is worth 10 points for a total of 30 points? That's interesting. Does that work for you guys, this math?
Sure.
See, that's a kind of example that, spell check doesn't catch. It doesn't do math for me. If this were Excel, it would have done math for me.
February 29th, I thought I saw.
Yeah, this is obviously this is from last, but even then, even February 29th, this is like, it's September 29th instead of February 29th. But even in February, 10 plus 10 did not add up to 30, I assure you. Things have not changed that much. The ground does seem to be moving under our feet in many ways, but that hasn't changed. Okay. Does anyone want two options? Do you want to talk about the assignment that are due today that you have issues with and questions and you want to review to submit because you don't know how to make the corrections? That's one thing we can do now. I can, do that and or Katie can do that in one room, or you guys can download some of the SAM assignments and look at the instructions file and see if you have any questions about how it's going to be if you haven't done it yet and see if it's very different. Or you can just sit here and do the work with us, toodaloo, working on our stuff until you have a question, or you can take off and do it on your own. Your choice. But if no one's going to stay, then Kitty and I will sign out too. So I just kind of want to know what your plans are.
I think I want to download the SAM just because I haven't done it. And
Great.
if I have questions, just kind of ask you since you're here.
Exactly. I'll go ahead and demo it here while you do it on your own. And then that way, if anyone even has any question about how to do it, you can see it being done. But great point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Basically, there's two of us. This is the time that there's two of us. So use us. Instead of waiting to go to a tutoring time. If you want to do your work while we're here, I can happily keep working on the grade, on the course itself, while Katie helps you. And then if some you need more help than that, then I can help you too. But if you need to say, you know what, I don't want to work in this right now, and I'm going to watch reruns of something, go for it too. But just know that you need to come to the Zoom times with the tutors to get help. So I can let you guys decide. We can take a break, a 15-minute break at 7:30. We can come back at 7:45, and whoever's here is here. And if you need help, you will get help from us. And if no one's here, we will close it up. Your choice. So let's do that. That way you don't have to feel like you're telling me that you're leaving or something. Just if you don't come back, I'll know that you're doing your own thing. And if you come back, then we're here and you can just be quietly doing your work and we'll be quietly doing our work. because I'm sure Katie has stuff she can do too. And then when you have a question, just pipe up and we'll be here. That's our commitment. Okay? To be available to help you. So for if I don't see you again, if you don't come back, then see you next week. Other than that, I'll see you at 7:45. Okay? All right, I'm gonna stop. By the way, I'm also gonna stop the recording now because I'm not gonna be recording lab time. So if anyone has any questions about it, this is the end of the recording time.